Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Those minor thirds always get you. Hey, welcome to a new live stream. My name is John Skippy. Hopefully the volume issue is fixed. I found someplace where I had the volume down a little. Playing a new library. I'm so excited. We have a new library of new sounds for you that requires only Unify. It's Sabrefy Volume 1 by Tim Dale. In fact, I have Tim online. We'll be interviewing him in just a bit, so we get to ask him questions and say hi and all that kind of stuff. Yes, I sometimes am a little bit late. Hopefully, I think it's only 1 minute late. Sounds good. Okay, good. Glad. So we have a 250 patch library from Tim Dale to play with today. Unify 1.5 is out with its wonderful ability to quickly recall edits if you've accidentally lost them, to keep the window open all the time. We're going to go over all the new updated things there. I have a handful of new software things to show you. In fact, there's one I haven't even tried. I bought it last night. It's an extremely accurate representation of 4 of the algorithms from the Lexicon 480 for $29 from a company called Relab. I just got everything set up, so I believe let's test it. We'll test it together here. So if I go to a BPM drum groove like this, and I should now be able to go over here to the insert, go down here to, I think Relab shows up here. I might have to yeah, I'm going to go over here, operations. This is the process. If you want to add a plugin to your list, you go to operations, plugin files to scan. We want to go to the VST folder, to Relab 480 Essential. It should now see my iLock, which has been authorized. That's all set. So now by just doing that without restarting or anything, don't have to like turn off your audio and restart or anything like that. Relab 480. So sounds really nice. They have the plate, hall. I'll show you this a little bit more when we get to the showing software stuff, but it works. I just had to make sure it works, So that's coming. Softube compatibility is something that we were able to get working for VST2, and audio units have worked in the past with Unify. There's something funky with the VST3s. I don't know exactly what that is, but we do have VST working inside of Unify for playing Softube, and they have probably the most accurate representation of a hardware classic in software form that I have ever seen and played. It sounds so good, and that's the Model 84. We'll look at that. Along with Sabrefy, there's a library from Triple Spiral Audio for Hive 2, which is now, it includes Unify patches when you buy it from Triple Spiral Audio. So we really appreciate the support that Triple Spiral Audio and Zero G is also with their Ethereal libraries giving to supporting Unify. So we like to make a big deal of all these cool things of support. So cool. Good to see everybody. Welcome. I hope you had a great week. It's been an interesting week for me. I went to a garage this week. I have something interesting to show you guys. I haven't done much besides this look in my room, type of thing. I haven't done a lot of outside video, and I'm going to be doing more outside videos. So I did a vlog of something that I did a couple nights ago, and I will play that for you. But to start with, let's talk about Unify 1.5. It's a free update. You can go to logging in. If you bought it from pluginguru.com, you can log into your pluginguru.com account. There's another place that everybody can go get it. That's from our distributor, Ilio. Ilio, of course. Right here, I'll put the link in the chat. And they have, as you can see right here, because Unify is protected, it's one of these things, we can put our software on a page like this. You need the license to get it to work. So by going here, you have the updater, which is to update if you have Unify, any version pretty much of Unify already up and running. If you need to start from scratch, we have the full install. And these are, Ilio's download links are typically a little bit faster, especially to Europe and other places than the plugin guru links, which I apologize for. I'm working on trying to improve that, but it's a big mountain to climb. So anyway, that is available as a free download for all of you that already own Unify. And by doing so, you will now have these enhanced features. You have the browser open all the time, and there's a setting right here to say auto open browser, which makes it so that no matter where you go inside of Unify, when you exit out of that window, the browser is still open. You no longer, with this option, have to go back and click the browse button. If you turn browse off, the whole interface just gets nice and wide. You can actually change the relationship, the ratio for the actual patch names if you need to be bigger. You can click and drag here, which you've always been able to do. But now, when you go to the center bullet and you say save window preferred size, or save preferred window size, it will remember this ratio for the whole interface in that preferred size setting. So it is all there to go. I see all sorts of happy discussions going on. As soon as I get this email this morning saying Sabrefy is out, I went and bought it. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. Yeah, so it's a great library. I can't wait to talk to you. I'll show you the library. We'll play through some of the patches. But here, a couple other things that are really cool. Let's say that we were in the middle of playing. Let's add some Sabrefy to this. Let's do this. I need to make this a little bit wider this way so I can now open this, take down. And this is something I hear a lot when I hear demos from people. The drums are changing pitch. In MIDI box on a drum track, you can go to this thing called Guru Sampler Note to Course. It's a really cool feature for playing the drums and finding different pitches. But if you're playing it in a track, you typically don't have drums changing pitch. It sounds weird. So you go here and you can turn that off. And now wherever I play, the drums don't transpose anymore. So now I can go to Sabrefy. Let's say we want to go to a BPM bass. There's all sorts of fun basses. Let's load this into a new Unify layer like that. That works. Now, if we want, we're going to right click on here to bring this down to, say, B2, right there, so that it stops. So the top part of the keyboard, as you can see, I can go up here. I can go to BPM synth, click to open. Okay, I clicked. Cool. Cool. Now let's say I was gonna be looking to add something else. I've just been having a great time right-clicking to add. Let's add this. What is this? This is digging deep, dig deep. And this one here, I don't want the violins in the left hand, so you can click and drag here. You also can right-click right here in this lower box, which is the bottom range, and then you just play a note, and it's done. Whoa. Right? Now, I was going to add something else, and instead of right-clicking, I accidentally clicked. And that edit is gone, right? It's it's gone. You can't get it back. Now we're in trance land. It's like, no, I had such a fun groove. Oh, that was going to be a cool song. If you click revert, we now have the ability to save anytime the state of Unify has been edited, it's in a dirty state, something has changed. When you change patches, Unify automatically saves what the state is before it changes patches. And it puts it into a little folder. If you go to your reveal in Finder, and here, let's get this smaller because this is kind of big and stuff. And if you go up a couple levels to where you see Unify, you will see we now have what's called the auto saved patches folder. And we just set up got lots of names in my head. Shane set up so that it would save the state to that folder. And then right here, it will list that state. So if I click right here, it's time-stamped. The latest thing that was done is at the very top of this list. Revert will revert back to whatever the current patch is. But below that, we have recall. Click that. It will now load everything up. And I'm back to jamming away. I don't know why that hits. Interesting. All right. So that is the setting right here. This auto save. You can say don't save any if you don't want it to work. You can have it save up to 10 files. So that way it will keep a running little list right there of up to the 10 last patches you've cycled through. So if you did something, you go tomorrow, you go back, you go, oh wait, what was that thing I was playing with last night? You can find it again and get it back. So it's pretty cool. It's nice to have that. There's so many times you guys have talked about, the thing to accidentally delete patches and stuff like that. Here's a way to get them back. And so we're really happy with that feature. There's one more feature that's ask, are you sure? And that is off by default. And if you turn this on, then anytime that anything has been changed to where it's at an edited state, when you go to change patches, it's going to pop up a little, I call them bumpers. This is like bowling. You have bumpers on the side so your ball can't go into the next lane. This is a bumper to make sure that you have to say okay before you change and lose this. So by having this bumper, if you have this bumper on, say we go back to revert, we go back to every day, right? We're playing it. And I just changed just one thing, right? So now if I even just single click, not even an option click or anything, it will pop up this bumper and say, hey, this has changed from where it was at saved, wherever it was, whatever state it was at. Are you sure you want to change? And so you cannot delete by accident patches with that bumper on. The problem is that there's a number of plugins, including some of ours, that even calling it up and not playing it, it will register as a dirty state. It will change the state of the patch. So there are times where that is going to pop up all the time when you change patches. Contact does that typically, right? So if you like to have that type of safety bumper, you can have it. It's right there to turn on. It's off by default, okay? So it's a great update. On top of this, I'll show you in a little bit when we get to showing new plugins. It works with Softube, so we have access to all the fun plugins and instruments from Softube in VST2 format. They don't crash Unify. Used to be that took it just complete down. It doesn't do that anymore. So I am really happy. This is a free update. It's free to everybody that owns Unify, so please download and enjoy. Let me spend a few minutes playing a couple patches from the new library from Tim. This is definitely a UniChill. Did a lot of simple things that are just a nice pad, 1, 2 layers. This is kind of going in the other direction. What can you do when your car's doing 200 miles an hour? What is it like? So incredibly cool patches. Lots of fun things on the knobs. So there's all sorts of hidden Easter eggs and grooves and complete sequences and other parts behind a lot of these patches. Really, really, really fun, creative, out of the box thinking, fun things. 250 patches. You got lasers. Combine this with something else. Another Unify. This is the all sorts of stuff. BPM effects. This is using wave sequencing. Super fun. He did some really fun things with wave sequencing kind of ideas in here. And they all work together like everything else that comes out for Unify, which is really fun. So you can go to a pluck. And he's great with names too. I love the names that Tim comes up with. This is his 6th library that we've released. The first library. In fact, here, let's bring him on. Tim, are you ready?
Yes.
Everybody,
yes.
I'd like to introduce you to Tim Dale. Here, let me
Hello,
turn off.
everyone.
Hey, do you remember when the first library, let's see, stop this video like that. Do you remember the first video, what year it was we released our first library?
Mine, I think was 2016, I think.
Yes, January 1st, 2016. We've been at this a while, man. So welcome.
Yes.
Welcome. Congratulations on the new library.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I turned off the video just so it doesn't show like a video of me on top of the video with the video in the corner and stuff like that. Or I
Right,
can,
okay. Yeah. So I'm now looking at just at me.
Yes.
A little disconcerting.
Okay. Well,
but
here
if I
I
look
can
to
also.
my left, it's because I'm looking at. I'll keep an eye on the chat as well.
Here we go. I know it's a lot to manage. Let's see here. I can also go like this.
Before we do anything else, because it's just starting to get dark outside, can I just show you where I live?
Sure.
So if I turn the camera around, I live on the side of a mountain.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So this is a. I live just outside a place called Abergavenny in Wales, and that is a mountain called the Blowinge.
Nice. And you walk up there. Is that a place to go hiking and stuff?
I've walked on I have to confess, I've lived here now since 2014, and with a car park up there, so I have driven to the car park and walked to the summit, but I've never walked from the bottom.
Oh,
I'm just so lazy. It's unbelievable.
It's like this morning. I'm going to go
It's
get
it's still quite a hike, even from the car
Yes.
park, but it's not quite so.
This morning I was like, okay, I'm gonna walk to go get coffee at my little local coffee shop, and I almost drove, but I was like, you know what, you got to drive. I got to walk. So I got my dog. We walked. We had a good time. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah. So John will know we've been rushing to get the library out,
Yes.
which has meant that not much actual sleep for the last 2 nights. So,
No, it's
little.
yeah. We had a little optimization to do to the library, which came out really nice. I think everybody's going to appreciate the extra elbow grease at the end there. Came out really
So
nice.
if I start talking nonsense, that's the reason.
So
that's my excuse.
Thanks for sharing your view, Northwest Observer says. So that's nice. So give us a little background about Tim Dale. Let everybody learn a little bit about your background. Where did you start your music adventure?
I was actually saying my dad for hobby was an audio engineer. So I actually started going along with him doing stuff. So I was recording things like orchestras and choirs and musicals basically all my life.
Wow.
And didn't get into hadn't got into playing music, and I started learning the piano at age 18.
Okay.
So I was a very late starter.
But you were around it influenced by music all your life, it sounds.
Yes. So and I was actually living as a student. I was living with a whole load of musicians, and one guy, he'd bought a keyboard, and just couldn't get the hang of it. So he decided to sell it and offered it to me. And that is I've got the Ensoniq ESQ1 here.
Right.
I've had that all since 1988, and it's still with me. And that's what I've sort of worked on. But of course, it meant that from day one, I had a keyboard that not only was an analog sounding synth, but also had an amazing sequencer on board.
Yes.
So from day one, I started putting sounds together and combining them. And although I wasn't a good enough player, because I lived with musicians, they would keep borrowing it, and they'd use it for gigs. And so what I'd start doing was creating sounds on the Ensoniq for them to use, because I found that the sounds that were in there varied a lot. Some of them were very sort of big and bombastic, and others were very weedy, very thin sounding, which was no good for the live work. So I basically beefed them all up.
There you go.
And then I started to try to do composing with it, and now I couldn't, because you basically couldn't fit them in a mix anymore.
Right.
And then I understood why they're thin. So I learned by mistakes.
Right. Yeah, the placement of different frequency sounds. There's a reason that not everything. I mean, I like to make big patches, but there's a reason to make smaller ones too, because they need to fit.
Yeah, which is why in the library you'll see that some of the patches, although they're very big, I've sometimes put filter controls on the macros.
Right.
So you can filter them right down, so you then can fit them into whatever you're doing for your mix.
Yeah. So. Awesome. And you do a lot of work in the church, working with church bands and so forth as well.
Yes, I do. Yeah, so I play live in church very regularly. Create sounds for that as well. So for many years, my hardware was basically with the Korg Karma keyboard, and so I programmed that up for. I even had sort of different patches set up for all the different songs and everything. So it was, but that was just my private use.
Right.
So
and you were showing me a new recent acquisition.
Yes. So yes, somebody made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I have the Korg Kronos.
Kronos is a wonderful
weighty version.
Yeah.
So that will be replacing my very faithful Korg Karma that I've had for 10 years.
Yes.
So,
nice. Yeah, that was a fun synth to work on. Lots of drum kits and combinations and patches and samples.
Yeah, because I didn't realize, of course, that I had the so many of the things I've owned, because I've been a Korg fanatic for years. So most of the stuff I've owned has been Korg.
Yes.
Of course, I didn't realize that how much of it was you. between you and Jack and
myself and Jack and
and
good handful of people,
and I don't know, I can't remember if I told you, but I had for many years back in 1991, a friend of mine bought the 01W. And so I didn't need another keyboard, so I got the 03RW rack, and that was again my main source of sounds for many years. And I got the best of the 01W CD.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yep.
And about 5 years ago, I was having a turnout and I threw it away, not realizing I would then start meeting some of the people who were on that CD. I never thought that was going to happen.
I know, right? That's funny. Yeah, that was a fun. I mean, that back in the day, it was, I think Eric started with Roland to do demos onto an audio CD to pass out for people to be able to play as like just music to enjoy while you're driving and listen to demo songs for various sampling instruments and stuff that they did. And so Korg wanted to kind of, hey, we could do this too. And so they did one for the 01W and put demo songs. And I remember that. That was, I have a copy of that somewhere here.
So I'd been programming hardware since for years, but it wasn't until I think it was about 2013, 2014, I updated my DAW and now had a DAW that could support VSTs.
Right.
And that sort of opened that door. And suddenly I decided if I'm going to do one big VST purchase, I can get all the free ones, but I want one big one. Which one should I go for? And I eventually opted for Omnisphere.
Yes.
And that basically is the start. That's how I started on the programming.
I haven't
because as soon as I started using Omnisphere, I started creating patches, and so,
and it's funny.
And then
it's an investment, but you never hear anybody regret that purchase.
No,
because there's so much to Omnisphere
Yeah,
depth-wise in
every week on the chat, we always have people going, I'm debating making the leap into Omnisphere. And like everyone's like, do it.
Yes, do it. Yeah, it's follow on Facebook if you guys want. There's like Omnisphere Addicts and a couple others where people have questions all the time. There's all sorts of things going on. What is your favorite hard synth? We have a question, I see.
Traction box. Yeah, well, that I own or that I'd like. I mean, I do love the Kronos. What I'd actually love to have, which I would love to save up for, is the sequential Prophet X.
Mm-hmm.
I just absolutely fell in love with that keyboard when playing it, because it is, a small fortune, but
yeah, a small investment. Yeah, and the big news this week was, I believe, Novation, or the company behind Novation.
Well, Focusrite, yeah, but
Focusrite purchased
sequential,
Dave Smith. So,
so
it's the second time. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm just hoping that doesn't mean that Dave Smith's imminently going to retire. I'm hoping not.
Right. Well, Yamaha bought sequential circuits back in the day.
Yeah.
So this is the second time that he has sold his company, which is smart.
And I was because I commented, because I was on the Sonic State live stream on Wednesday, and this came up for discussion.
Yes.
And I just put the comment in saying, and what did Yamaha do with all the sequential technology? They built the SY22, and that was it.
Yeah. And then they gave
it to
Korg.
It's a keyboard, but that was it. That's as far as they went.
Right. Well,
but then of course we got the wave station.
Yes. So, then it became a Korg commodity, and people. Well, not necessarily people from that, but that research facility still in San Jose is Korg R&D, which is where Wave State came out. The Mod Synth, those are all products that are part of Korg R&D from the Wave Station back in the day. So it was definitely a worthwhile investment at the time for Korg to go that direction. So
spreading the knowledge around helped.
Yes, we'll see if that turns out to be a good thing for Focusrite.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's add the questions here. I think everybody's just enjoying our discussion. Is that a neutron table behind you?
Yes, it is. It's the Behringer neutron, or as I like to call it, the Behringer slippery slope into modular synthesis.
The what?
The Behringer slippery slope into modular synthesis.
Slippery slope.
Once you start with that, it is just downhill. Then
it definitely can take you in that direction very quickly. Yeah,
so I've been resisting that because
it's very creative. Let's see here.
So the other thing you can see is I've got the Roly Seaboard Rise.
Yeah, how do you like that?
I do like it, obviously, but it's not for everything.
Yes.
So it depends what I'm doing with it. Sometimes I use it just to be able to play quietly.
That's why I got mine in the first place. But of course it's hard to be accurate. So
yeah, I mean it's not great for normal synths, but when you start using it with the MP stuff, it's brilliant. So.
Right. If you use it,
haven't had. I've been so busy with the last two libraries, because I'm basically, between this and the Tetrasonics library.
Yes.
It's basically been most of my musical time for the last 2 years now, I think. So I haven't had enough time to play with these two. So
right. By the way, to point out to everybody, so this new library is available at plugandguru.com. And we also have all four of we should find it. I should look and see. I think Tetrasonics has also been unified.
We did that. That was unified when it came out, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So I'll put that into the sale. It's not in the sale right now, but I'll pop that in there so that it's part of the sale after the live stream as well. But all of his libraries are available on sale. So it's Tim Dale week. Yay! Cool. Well, what was your experience like programming this library with Unify?
Loved it because it sort of opened doors I've never had before, because obviously I've been programming Omnisphere for since 2016.
Yes.
But of course, when you're using Unify, there were two things that I hadn't been able to do before. One was using the Guru sampler, suddenly being able to combine the plugin Guru libraries.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember we did the ESC tribute library?
Yes.
And in doing that, we had those. You gave us the permission to use those samples,
right?
And so we started combining. So you'd suddenly get a cello being combined with Kathy's voice from Creaturesque, and it was brilliant because we suddenly got sounds that we just hadn't had before,
right?
And of course, because you've put them all into the Guru sampler, suddenly we've got those.
All those libraries
so that's
are
why you get this brilliant the sounds working together that we haven't heard before when they've been in different libraries.
Right.
And of course, the other thing is the VSTs that come with it.
Right.
Because I think I mentioned in an email somewhere, although, like most people, at some point I've used FM. I used to have use of a TX81Z or TX81Z, as you call it.
Right.
But never would have dreamed of trying to program it on those little screens.
Right.
And suddenly to have DXZ or DX
right.
Available,
right.
and it suddenly, well, it's still fairly daunting. Needed to lie down in a dark room after some sessions, but suddenly to have be able to visualize what FM is doing.
Right.
Brilliant. So it was able that thing to combine the Oberheim warmth from OBXD and the FM from DX, and I was using a lot of the PG8X, unfortunately, at the start.
Right.
I had to take it all out. Oh, well, never mind.
I know, right?
And put those three together with the Guru sampler, and suddenly to have it was the best of all worlds.
Mm-hmm.
You had, and again, it's combinations of sounds that they sort of used in. It sort of came together in sort of the early '80s pop music, but you had to have a whole rack of keyboards to do.
Right. Yes, a number of the big composers that friends of mine that I've talked to, and they're like, "Oh, I can stack things again." It's so easy because they used to to make a sound would take 6 or 7 different synthesizers MIDI together, And what's fun with Unify is that can all be done internally in software just by adding patches. So
yeah. And then of course you added all sorts of new things like wave sequencing and coding and
that's crazy.
So unfortunately, the problem was it started to become there was just so much available. It's like, which do you use?
It's very easy to get carried away for sure. So
yeah,
no, but it's a great library. You explore and push things in some really cool directions. It's really fun to go through and see what you did. There's and you played with the new Chow effects. Did you like Chow Matrix?
Yes, I used those. So I mean, for instance, one of the things I did was use the Chow Matrix. Stacked a couple together, shifted up the pitch, and made shimmer verbs.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, so it's fantastic sort of things you can do with it. But,
yeah, we'll have to do a video maybe like explaining the techniques to do that. That'd be fun to do as like a support video.
Yeah, because I did all sorts of some crazy and sneaky things to get what I wanted on some of the patches.
Yes, well, let's plan this week. Let's get together and give me a list of the sneaky patches, and we'll do a video together to put out about some of the sneaky Tim tricks for this library. That would be really fun.
Yes, I'd love to do that.
Okay, we'll do that. Well, thank you for doing this. It's so nice to get you into the stream so everybody can meet you and know you're a real person and not just some, automated robot named Tim. You push automate the patches and they come out, I mean, you're a machine. Six libraries. It's a lot for you to produce. It's great. So cool. Well, everybody is happy and good. I am now fully Timdale unified. Right on, Raymond.
Yes, I saw he put the comment that he bought Omni X2 earlier to completed the set, so he can now shout bingo. Or something.
Wow. Hey, explain for a second real quick so people know in the Omnisphere libraries, what's the difference between the Sabrefy library or the Sabresphere libraries, Sabrefy, and the Omni X libraries?
Right, so the Sabresphere libraries from the Sphere, and I suppose the Sabrefy library for Unify, they're general purpose libraries, but the patches are designed for to be hopefully as widely usable as possible. So and as a result, we hear back. I mean, I know the sounds from Sabresphere Volume 2. I know that it's been used in dance music, church music, and film music. So yeah, they're very widely usable. And the other thing is, because I do play live, I always try and make sure that there's expression in the playability.
Mm-hmm.
So so that velocity, and if it's available after, sometimes I add aftertouch, and and the mod wheel, etc., trying to make it usable in a live environment as well as in the studio. The OmniX libraries are, every patch is BPM based, so it's designed for throwing into your project and adding an instant layer of motion that's tempo synced, or stacking them together to produce different things as well. So they and the first OmniX library is more sort of analog, and the second one is slightly more, for a better word, grungy.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. I have just put Tetrasonics into the sale and added it. So here, let me get my page here so I can show everybody. It's so tricky. Let's see here. Go here. I need to say.
And just to emphasize, because I keep being asked the same question by lots of different people. So this new Sabrefy library is for, it only requires Unify.
Yes.
You don't need Omnisphere or any other plugin, only the core plugins that come with Unify.
Right. So if you go to the pluginguru.com website right here, I'm going to put this right by the chat so you can see.
Okay.
There's 3 different, I now have a rotating banner. I'm so 1990 now. And if you click when you get to the one that shows the Tyndale libraries on sale, this goes to our current promotion page, and you'll see that Sabrefy is here. It's on sale for $25 for the next 2 weeks until May 16th. And then down below,
I'd buy it.
Yeah, it's so many. If we were to do how many hours work?
Well, yeah, because I actually started this library January last year.
Yes.
So I'd actually built up all the patches, and then roughly, and then Cloud City came out. And it was like, okay, this is another level now. So, I had to basically go back and almost restart and do them all again. So that now taking into account all the new stuff that came in at Cloud City and synths. So that's why we've got in there the MIDI box, the wave sequencing, etc.
So as you scroll down the list of the promotions, you'll see all of Tyndale's libraries: Tetrasonics, OmniX, Volume 1, Volume 2, Sabersphere, Volume 1, Volume 2. Creature-esque is also there if you would like to get that library with Kathy Talbot singing. Those are Omnisphere libraries. The libraries, other than Sabrefy, on the promotion page when you get there, those are typically, this is where are the Plugin Guru libraries that now have Unify patches, but they require usually Omnisphere, because I did 40 libraries for Omnisphere. But there's also sometimes where we pop up sales for things that use like Repro for Uhi, or Zebra, and other plugins as well. But these all require Omnisphere 2 plus Unify, and then you're up and running. All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read some of the questions.
Yes, looking at all the nice comments. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
And we will do a video this week on tips and tricks that will be very fun for people that like Sabrefy. And I've still got to
I should go make those good.
Yes, I've got a patch walkthrough video to make as well. So there's a lot to do. So we're just beginning the adventure. So thank you to all of you that are supporting the Sabrefy library.
Yeah, they're well done on making these patch walkthrough videos. I started doing one the other night for this, and I'm so far up to 9 patches. It takes forever.
It's very hard. It's I've made a lot, so I've had a lot of practice. All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Brilliant.
Cheers.
I'll see you all in the chat.
See you in the chat. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
What a good guy. So this is a wonderful library. Like we've talked about, there's 250 patches from bass. There's over 150 BPM patches doing all sorts of cool things. Some of his guitars are really cool. My dog's barking down below. Nice. And again, more than almost any other library, make sure you go to the macro knobs because there's all sorts of hidden treats. All this is in the But if you call it up just by the way it is, let's say revert back to the original, just so you know what it starts with. There's no bass, there's no drums. All these guys that are off are just waiting there, ready to jump in. It's actually only a 2-part patch for them. Make sure you go to the knobs. So much to find on all of these. So I want to point out a couple things that are cool. Beautiful piano combination things. Under organ, he has a unified drawbars. So that's really nice to have right there to work with. I have my auditioning audio in my computer. Broke up. Okay, cool. Let's see. Other things to point out. There's a couple patches that are like TX816. So this is using 8 DX patches to do a T. I have the factory TX816 patches, which is the 8 modules of the DX7 in a single rack, and I will be releasing this year for sure the library of patches. I'm having to make them. Some of them are fairly easy, like, you know, the brass. There's a different brass in each of the modules. I don't have like the exact it's, you know, you'd send it a program change to a number, so you'd think it's the same number for everything. So I'm trying to get that ready to get to you guys. That will be a free support library, which will be fun. Let's see, I'm done with Zoom, so we can say see you to that. Loopback audio is done, so we OBS is doing good. Oh, I should get back to this view here. Hello. How are you doing? So there's a few other places I want to take you guys today. I was talking to you about all the different software that has come out in the last week. Let's start with Softube, since that is showing 1.5 compatibility. If we go to swap instruments down here to Softube, you'll see I have all sorts of different instruments. I've got the variations. So I could try loading all. I usually don't do this. I usually just keep VST plugins available, but I tried the VST and the VST3. VST3 won't work, but VST2 version will. And it's basically a complete, beautiful knockoff of the Juno 106. I used to sell these in a music store many, many years ago. And this has so much of the spirit of that synth in it. I'm really impressed with both. Be aware of this, that on the Juno 106, it has a high pass filter to the left of the low pass filter. They've moved it down here and call it EQ, which I really don't understand why you would do that, because it's that's not EQ. It's subtracting frequencies, and you can't add frequencies with the EQ. But okay, but just be aware the high pass filter is now their EQ. Maybe that's one way to, like, well, we're not directly copying the Juno 106. But it has the same single oscillator filter. It's very easy to program. One envelope. With the VCA, the volume, you could choose whether it follows this envelope, or if you put it to this where it shows a little blocky, then it's just like an organ, and it ignores this filter, so that this filter is totally available for the filter to use instead of the volume to use, because otherwise they have to share. This is one of the synths where they didn't make a separate amp EG and a separate filter EG envelope. But this has if you click this little side panel right here, by the way, it opens up a page for additional controls beyond what the normal Juno 106 would give you. You have access, as you can see, to the unison. So if you turn on unison, so you can have the oscillator as well as the sub oscillator all doing unison. They have the choice of, they have free running, which means each time you play, each of those notes of unison are starting at a different place in their phase cycle. For a lot of bass sounds, you want to change it to sync, which makes it force every note to have the same sync when you play a note. Hear that beep, beep, beep. If you do it like that, then you can go over here to the filtering. You'll get a bass sound that just absolutely hits you on the head. If you compare this to the free running oscillators, when you force all of the waveforms to start at the same phase point, so if you need a sound that really, when you're trying to do big unison synthy parts, it doesn't sound as good. You want this. Where versus like, but if you're trying to do bass sounds, then sync on unison is really important, because now you can, even for sub-bassy sounds, you just absolutely make. If you've gone to a big movie theater and you hear the big subs with, let me turn this down because it's too loud. It's because they're using something that has unison with the ability to force all the oscillators to sync. Here's that same sound with sync off. Here it is with it on. Totally different planet when it comes to programming bass sounds and so forth. So unison, to have the sync, is really, really cool. Aftertouch controls, tune, whether you want it to be mono or stereo, they have a layout showing you the flow of it. It's very, very well done. And the sound of it, Juno 106, man, I'll tell you, it takes me all the way back to working with the real Juno 106 for hours and hours at a music store in Seattle, Washington as a store salesperson. Great synth. So this is out. It's really, really cool. Let's keep this up. There's a couple new effects that are really cool. Let me show you one from our friend Rob Poppin. He has a new delay called Del Sane. That's insane. Let me get you a link, first of all, to Softube. So model 84 is right here. Here is a link. It's available on offer for $99, which is great. I believe it's $159 retail. But it is a polyphonic icon. It sounds so good. It's of all the things trying to be a software version of hardware, this is the closest anybody has gotten to nailing there's a YouTube channel where someone did a scope comparison between a real Juno 106 and the software with its behavior with LFO rate, and PWM, and resonance, and it's nailed. It's closely nailed as you can. So if you're going to try to do it right, you know, and they did it. And so I'm very thrilled to see that they did that. And congratulations to Softube for that. Del Sane by Rob Poppin. Let's get that up here. That's Rob Poppin. Del Sane. He's also insane in that this is available for $29, what I'm about to show you. This is a digital delay that has the ability to be a nice, smart, but it also has it has a frequency shifter, so you know right there it's going to get and then you get down here to this area where you've got the ability to move this spinning earth, and you could turn on frequency shift. And then you can turn on lazy mode so that as you're playing it, and you can determine. You have it change delay times. There's a ton of patches that take you. Let's see, favorites. I think introduction favorites, and then go. This is where you put your favorites. That's right. So introduction would be where we have. Phase and so forth changing. It's got some other things coming. I won't tell you what he has coming until it comes out, but there's an update coming with adding additional really cool things to this delay. So you're going to be getting even more goodies than what it comes with now. So really fun. I love that they have an equal feedback. When we did our Omega delay, I purposefully specified and said I really need to have separate feedback for the left and the right channel. And a lot of this is because short delays require more feedback to equal the same amount of delay time as a longer delay time. So if something is short and this one's going to be long, I need this side to have more feedback than the right side, right? Well, Del Sane, Rob fixed that with a button called the equal feedback button. So by turning this on, if you set it to where it's got different delay times of different ratios, it's going to offset the feedback so that it's got the same amount of taps going if you have this option on. So it kind of gets rid of the requirement, but I still do other things where I like different feedback amounts to different channels for delay. So it's nice to have it as separate controls too, but it's also nice to just be a button you click and it works. So this has frequency shift. It's got distortion. So if you go into some of these categories of sounds like tempo-based and disrupt, flange moving, you'll find it doing all sorts of. You put this on your voice, it's really cool. Wonderful delay. So it can be beautiful stereo delay, but it also has an insane Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde side to it with ability to immediately have your delay taps have personality, all sorts of stuff in it. So check that out for sure. On top of this, the other effect I want to talk to you guys about is from Relab. This is called, where is it at? It's relabdevelopment.com. And they have, I don't know how long this is going to be going on, but the, let's see if if I can even find where they have it's Relab Hall. It's not the Hall because this is, I believe, still expensive somehow. Yeah, this is $149. There is the Relab. Let's see, it's $480. Relab. Oh, not Nectar. Okay, let me find this. 480 Essentials. Here we go. Relab Essentials from Relab Development. Room. That's not quite right. They had a promo on Facebook that I found this through. So let me see what's going on here. Relab. I'd like to give you a link. Not very easy. Relabdevelopment.com. 480. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's go. I guess I have to go to, I'll get you the link because they're making it hard to find from their Facebook page, it seems. But if you go here at Relab Development, let's see if I can find this promotion that they have going on. Okay, there. Maybe the sale's off. I don't know, but here we go. No, that's not it. Oh, here we go. So it's a limited time offer to get the $99 Relab Essentials. I'll put this into the YouTube chat. Hopefully that link will work. Oh, through the store? Okay, so maybe there's other ways to get to it. But anyway, they have it. It's 4 of the different algorithms, and it sounds really nice. If we go over here, we say Relab Essentials. It's a beautiful, very nice. It's again, we're kind of in this land of recreations that are pretty accurate to the originals. It's very nice. If we wanted to call up some drums really quick, let's say, so if we go Cloud City, drum kit. Let's say World Percussion. And we go over here and I'm using the Dragonfly Hall. Let's turn that off. And instead, let's go over to Relab. Okay, let's get this so we can see this. Compare that to the Dragonfly. So this is the free Dragonfly Hall. And here's the 480. So it's very smooth. Dragonfly, not bad though, man. Let's make this a shorter. Compare that to go to the room. Really nice. A little bit more in your face. If you have a singer or something like that, you'd probably want the 480 for natural acoustic sounds. They're both cool. It's nice to be able to get this for $35 though. So this is available. If you need reverb, I'm really enjoying it. It's iLok based. You need to have an iLok account. You can authorize it to your computer. You don't have to have you don't have to have one of these things, which I have, and I've got way too many pieces of software authorized on it, but so be it. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, so that is the one more thing to show, and that's triple spiral audio. They have this new library. I can show you a minute of it. This is, I don't have it here right now. So let's go. Let's go reveal in the Finder. Over here, and let's do a little quick. See how fast I can do this while you guys are hanging out. Hope you're all doing good. Stay with me for a minute. Triple spiral audio solitary. It's a new library for Hive 2. Put this into libraries. Here to Unify. Click the little lightning bolt. Let's see. Right here is the library. $16.49 on sale, and it comes with Unify patches. Yay! So here's the link for solitary for Hive 2. Okay, and it's a nice, cool, creative, inspiring library. Let's see if we go down here. Spiral audio solitary. There's all sorts of things. We have unified it with helpful names, so it's nice basses. I really enjoyed Thursday morning. I actually I talked to Yop and I said, yeah, I lost about 2.5 hours with this one. If you start with this, it's so easy to go over, say, let's add some sort of fun groove to this. All of a sudden you're in a whole different place, right? Let's go over here to Sabrefy. Let's add a JX power drive. That should sound fun in this. Put a little delay on it. We can open up this Unify and surf through other patches really easily. So little space in there, nice. Now I'm going to take all of these and right click and say stop on B2. So now I can keep surfing and look for something for my right hand to have a good time with. Let's say a pent up emotion guitar. That sounds interesting. can go on and on with these. It's very, very fun. Again, the fun with Unify is that all of this is available to play with inside of one place. Any plugin you want, any patch from any of these libraries. I could go to Uniscream, go over here, find some sort of really cool duck control, load this, and screams. So it went from something nice and mellow, now we're in like some sort of horror movie. Get away from him! Get away, he's got a knife! Look out! So, fun stuff. Okay, so there you go. Lots of libraries, lots of plugins, lots of effects. New library for Unify. I'm gonna take you on a little bit different adventure now for a minute. I had fun this week, and I did something kind of. I'm gonna do more of these. I'm starting to work with doing video blog kind of related posts where it's not me just in my studio talking to you with nice lights and candles and all that kind of stuff, but getting out and stuff. This is a little crude as far as the video quality. I'm learning as I go, so I apologize a little bit for the video quality, but it's not that bad. So. But it came out really cool. So let me go over here, import this. Yes. Do whatever you got to do. Let me import this in. This is a little video blog. Let me get this so I can see exactly what you guys are seeing. Get this sized right. All right. So if we go over here to OBS. Oh, I'm going to have my picture go away. You ready? So let's see. This is 2 nights ago. Solos.
Here's your coffee.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Sweet. Have a good night.
Yeah, this will do. Let's set up right over here. This will be a cool spot. Corner. There's no reflections. I think this will work. So, yeah, garage drums, street drums. I'm not sure what exactly we will call this library in the end, but let's see here. If I turn this down, I have a first pass with some of the sounds that I have done some just preliminary noise reduction work on. There's hand claps, finger snaps. Let's see here. So we got a lot of work to do. I've recorded these same drums in a studio so that I'm going to be able to make a layering situation where I'll have both the dry kit, kind of like what I did for Super Macho drums with the shadow kits, but instead of it being artificial reverb, that's real. I use noise reduction software to remove some of the noise. I kept some of it because I didn't want to totally like turn it into a lab. And what's fun with these is if you go in and you edit this, and you take these kicks, so fun stuff to play with. Something that I'm working on for a future library. Garage band. So that has been a fun little project to be working on. Let's see, close, don't save. I'll just keep it as it's raw street drums. So let's do shout outs. I want to point out something I'm really excited for this next live stream. I'm going to get to have an interview with my mom and dad. So my mom and dad will be here on screen telling you about growing up and how their influences influenced me. I love my mom and dad very much, and they big impact on who I am today. And so I want to share that. It's the day before Mother's Day, and my mom is a truly amazing person that has changed the lives of thousands and thousands and thousands of people through teaching them music. I've had music lessons with her since I was 4 years old, and I think she was a teacher at the time. Or maybe I just went into Yamaha Music School. I had Yamaha Music School when I was 4 years old. So my parents have been very deeply involved with all that kind of stuff. Yeah, perfect for Mother's Day. So that will be coming on Saturday. They will be here. It's live. It's not like I'm recording them ahead of time. So hopefully they don't embarrass me too much. It'll be really fun. So thank you for your support. We love where we have Unify. There's all sorts of library stuff that we are working on like crazy. The end of May into June, I'm going to Mexico for 2 weeks. Kathy Talbot, who created Creature-esque, lives there. She has a really nice big casa with lots of space for my daughter's going to come take a break from her school. Her school's done, so she's going to come visit. We're going to record Kathy singing and doing all sorts of things that will become Creature-esque Volume 2 for Unify later this year, probably. And she's got me set up with all these musicians to record too. So we'll be recording classical guitar, nylon guitar, accordion, all sorts of instruments. So there's all sorts of cool things in development work for Unify to come out. So it's very nice to be free to have far more than 8 samples across the keyboard to make whatever instruments that we want to make. So I'm really excited. So shout outs, I see them happening from Sweden, Steve in Oregon, Don in Litchfield, UK. Nice, nice. Thank you, Ivar. It's very nice. I appreciate your congratulations. Good to see you all. We're actually quitting. You know, it's like I got to offset. Like I've gone over my 90-minute window so many times. think we get to quit 10 minutes early this time. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, shout out from Poland, from Les. Good to see you, Dave. Good to see you all. Thank you, Frankenmeiser. Shout out from the Concrete and Asphalt of Maryland. Ah, cool. Yeah, I was born in Washington, D.C., and I've never been back to that part since leaving when I was 6 months old. So someday I will come back to that neck of the woods and stuff like that. So long from the heartland. Good to see you, Clyde. K-Light. All right, well, be well, be creative. Next Saturday will be really, really, really fun. Can't wait to have my mom and dad here. That'll be a highlight video for me to get to interview them and hang out and just share their experience. My dad equally has done great things with installing sound systems in courthouses and the government buildings in Idaho that, all the senators sitting around talking on microphones, and each one of them don't hear themselves but hear everybody else. It's one of the biggest retail audio hardware store supplier buyers for like a couple of different amplification companies and so forth in the whole Northwest, out of his house in a little town in Idaho. So pretty amazing what's going on. So be well. Thank you all for joining and watching and hanging out. It's been very, very, very cool. Lots of cool discussions going on, I see. So I'll just say thank you for the discussions and support. Thank you, Don. Good to see you. I hope they've got some embarrassing stuff. I'm sure something will come out. So, all right. Be well, everybody. Thanks for your support. We'll see you later. Okay.